The Universal Peace Federation (UPF) has called for collaboration between governments at all levels, clerics and other stakeholders to foster peaceful coexistence and religious tolerance for national development. Reverend George Ogurie, Sub-Regional President UPF, who is also the African Regional Coordinator for the Interreligious Association of Peace and Development, spoke on creating a national environment for peace, unity, development, and connecting the world of peace.
When there is intolerance and when fights take place, there will be victims. And many times those victims are innocent people who are just taken advantage of. So the commemoration by the United Nations to think about those who are victims of religious, conflicts arising from religious intolerance is to call the attention of religious leaders, even political people. And in fact, I can tell you that many times the political people actually use religion to advance their own causes. This is to call the attention that when people take advantage of something of the sacred for their own personal gains, it is an ill wind that does not blow any good.
Also speaking, Simeon Owa, Executive Secretary of the International Summit Council for Peace Africa, said the walk was a symbolism of oneness and peaceful integration.
The Peace Road was one of the primary advocacies of Dr. Sun Myung Moon, who suggested that if the world is connected by roads and tunnels and bridges, it was an approach to having a harmonious world that people could live peacefully with one another, and that it was a way of eliminating violence from amongst people. And that also resonates well with parts of the world that we have today. The world is immersed in conflict, whether it is cross-border conflict or whether it is internal conflict, it is immersed in conflict. And so if we aspire to live harmoniously with one another, eliminating issues that stoke tensions between people, we can actually achieve mileage in terms of development, in terms of peaceful coexistence, in terms of harmony within the human family.
Mrs. Joy Fan, FCT coordinator for UPF Nigeria, said UPF was collaborating with religious leaders to drive the message of hope and cascade it down to members.
We didn't just come here by ourselves talking to people. We came and gathered the religious leaders because every human being falls under a certain religion. You can hardly find, for like our setting in Nigeria, you can hardly find an individual who is not under a religious leader. So that is why the Universal Peace Federation has decided to collaborate with the religious organizations, the religious leaders, to teach them what we believe, that we are one human being under God, one global universe under God. Religion should not bring us conflict, and we can see that that's basically what we're facing. So by the time this is done and the religious leaders go back and are able to educate the people, the conflict will reduce. We will have peace in the society.
Dr. George Ibert, the Secretary General of UPF Nigeria, called on the government and religious leaders to synergize and prefer solutions to religious intolerance.
We hope that religious leaders can come together, even approach the government and discuss this matter, because truly speaking, safety of the people, is part of the government responsibility. If there is a religious conflict, we should go to the roots and find what is the cause of that particular conflict in that particular community, to be able to find strategic, ways of helping these people. Government should set up, an institution to actually look into the issue of religious crisis and then prefer solutions to how the victims of religious crisis can be helped. Unless we do that, a single person or individual cannot. You can only do what you can do. But if it is a collective responsibility, I tell you, we can find solution to it.